This video is brought to you by the Tasmanian Organic Coffee Co. It's coffee with conscience. Single source, organic, Colombian or Himalayan coffee from Tasmania, Australia. Morning guys, my name's Taz. This is Dizzy. Classic Tasmanian day where I woke up, it was beautiful. So I jacked the bike in the air and got ready to make the video, and then it's about to rain. So we will crack on and get these jobs done. But bottom line is I'm going to work on the forks, and I'm going to try and do a couple of jobs while we're here. Ultimately, I want to take these fork shrouds off to slim it down and put the fork gaiters on. And while we're at it, we might as well replace this 16-inch front with a 19-inch front that I bought from a wreckers. So, wish me luck. So I'm going to take the caliper off, and that will give us the ability to drop all this out without actually having to re-bleed the brakes. Jesus. Not that bleeding brakes is a difficult job, it's just in this situation, theoretically, not required. Just a word of warning, while you've got the caliper disconnected, just make sure your kids or your family don't come out and play with the brake lever, because that will sort of crush that together, and then you're sort of back to square one. So that was a 6mm Allen key, and this is a 19mm on the breaker bar. The car for a second. This is actually part of the mechanism that kept the touring windscreen on, but because they'd cut the fork shrouds to get the windscreen on, when I took the windscreen off, I still had to leave this section on to hold the fork shrouds together. So I'll just remove this all together, and we will put it with the screen. Perfect. This is the first significant change that we'll make to Dizzy. The XVS650 or Dragstar 650 in its journey to become a bobber. We'll just loosen these Allen keys, 6mm, and allow the fork tubes to slide down, and that'll give us the ability, once we get past here, to sort of ultimately drop it down, remove these and put the fork gaiters on. But in case it lets go, we'll just put that there. So you can see it's starting to move. Just going to use an extension one loose. And take that off. Perfect. Use a 10 mil, and just got to disconnect this because the brake line is just preventing it from coming down further. There we go. Perfect. That was a little bit of messing about, but as long as you go gently, won't be a problem. Okay. One. Sweet. Put a bit of lube. So this is actually the reason that we pulled them off, to get these fork gaiters or fork. Cool, fantastic. These are an eBay item, fork gaiter. These are actually 41 mil forks, but so I got a nice firm fit. I actually bought 39 mil, and you can see at the top it's a bit of a challenge to get them on, but you can do it, and it just means that they won't flop around as much. So the clamps are going to sit there. So they'll sit approximately there. Make sure we are on the correct side, yep. Perfect. Just loosely tighten these in just to hold it in case we bump it and it comes falling out. Get them in and then we'll align them. A lot of that will be taken care of when the wheel goes in. Guys, the most significant part of this is to change from the 16-inch front wheel to the 19-inch front wheel. On a classic, you've got a 16 front, 15 back, and they're wider. On the custom, XVS650 custom, you've got a 19-inch front. And on the bike, to give it that sort of more custom chopper look, I really wanted to keep the 15 on the back and go up to the 19 on the front. So I went to the wreckers and they had one, 150 bucks with a serviceable tyre. Because of COVID, I had to get it delivered because I couldn't get there. But that was only another 50 bucks, so $200. I've got myself a beautiful, serviceable, chrome 19-inch front, which will just make this bike look awesome. So the trickiest bit will be just getting this, which locks the speedo drive from this wheel onto this wheel. If you go gently, just working your way around the different layers, starting there with that locking pin, and then not the rubber O-ring, but the metal underneath. you'll gradually prise it up slowly and gently without bending it, and then you can transplant it to the other one. Yep. Just gently push it down. That's locked in there. And that allows our speedo to hook on and work. So the other thing you'll need is that, the spacer goes in there. Cool. So just always test it to see if it spins unimpeded. Tighten a quarter turn. Cool. So now we can jump in here and do these up. Because we've removed the mudguard, we're going to have to find somewhere to mount this. Right, so it's going to move this that holds the brake line. And it's just about to absolutely bucket down as we finish. Okay guys, it's the next day because the rainstorm came, it started to hail, so I had to move my cars. It's the next day. So what we're aiming to achieve is to get the fork gaiter over that section and lock it on so it can compress and not pull up. To help that, I've just put a cable tie around the bottom section, which I've found helps balloon it out and hold it in position. We jam it down as hard as we can and just use a blade screwdriver to gently feed it over the top. This is tricky, but yeah, you can see with a bit of rotation it'll come pretty easily. Now we've got it seated, just want to clip this cable tie. Opens up. Means we can crush it down. So it goes as hard over there as we can get it. Pull these as tight as we can without snapping. Cut off the tails. Extend this one up. Just put a cable tie around the top to hold it in position. And there. So guys, there's the finished product. We did a few jobs yesterday. We dropped the forks out of the triple trees. We took the fork shrouds off to slim it down and make it look a little less fat and industrial. We replaced the fork shrouds with fork gaiters or boots. We relocated some of the bracketing just to better deal with the fact that I'm not going to be running a front mudguard, so I had to sort of drill this out and reinstall it into a slightly different position. This one came from there to there, just to put a little bit more slack into it. We changed the classic 16-inch stock front rim for a custom 19-inch stock rim, and I absolutely love the look. I love the differentiation between the 15 and the 19 versus the 15-16. It gives me less tire wall, it gives me more chrome. I think it just looks better for the look that I'm going for, that I'm headed for with the Project Dizzy build. These fork gaiters are a little bit fiddly, particularly getting them over the fork lower, but if you sort of jam them down as hard as you can, sort of bounce that down and then lever them on with a blade screwdriver or a blade of a knife, you can do it. I ran out of long cable ties, so I just doubled up. I'll change that down the track. I might even go actually some steel cable ties just to hold them on, but you get the idea. That's it there, guys. I'm really happy with how that's come out. My name's iRide Taz. Till I see you next time, I'm out.